content, talking about things. And of course, I have Dr. John and Dr. Kelly right here as we are from the Indianapolis studios, also known as the basement, where we're filming and broadcasting live. And we're going to be talking about some things today, just kind of talking about the state of healthcare. And we're not going to get too deep in the weeds, but kind of talk about where we are in the state of healthcare, the good, the bad, and then where MGWellness hopes to fit in. So let's start by the first question. What do we think about where we are in healthcare right now when it comes to the good things, the bad things? What are things that are trends that we're seeing when it comes to healthcare, specifically in the United States?
Let's start with the good. It's a rough discussion because there's a lot of tough things about healthcare right now. But the good things include a lot of advancements technologically and with drugs, although the cost of drug development is exorbitant. But I think that those are the things that we would consider the good things.
And I think some good things are that there's less chance of being rejected by insurance because of pre-existing conditions, and that adults can keep their adult children on their plans for longer, which is helpful, especially when kids are in school for longer and longer.
Right, exactly. Those are really good things.
Yeah, when they're not making their own income and you can keep them on their plans. I think those things are all beneficial.
Yes. Now the challenging things, we're not going to get in the weeds because that's really not helpful, but the challenging things, I believe, center around the fact that healthcare has become a business, and it's not that it's not a business, but the challenge is that patients and, frankly, providers get lost in that difficulty.
Oh, no, that's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter if you're talking for-profit or non-profit. It's just corporations taking over healthcare has changed. It should have been able to change it for the positive. Look at the airline industry. Those are all obviously money-making organizations, but they have increased safety dramatically.
Right.
Versus if you look at, the famous 2011 report, or 2008 report.
Right, on hospital safety.
On hospital safety, there are more and more issues that seem to be coming up. Part of it is we're identifying things as errors that weren't previously identified as errors.
Right.
But still.
But part of it is because healthcare, providing healthcare right now, has become so extremely complicated because of the business that it has become. And what happens is that physicians have expectations and providers have expectations from the business side that are demanded of them, and patients, frankly, I believe in many situations get lost in a shuffle that is very challenging and very difficult and bothers us tremendously.
The whole idea of the electronic medical record, electronic health record, is supposed to have made medicine easier, supposed to have made it safer, and what it's done is it's actually dramatically increased providers' time documenting, and therefore they're spending less time with patients.
Right.
And that, I think, spending less time with patients is an issue. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We've always said that if you really truly focus on the patient, money will come from that. It just does, because
Absolutely.
Patients will go to environments where they are cared for.
I seem to remember a famous movie that said, if you build it, they will come.
Yes, I believe that is true, Doctor. Yes.
Dyersville, Iowa.
Yes, that is true.
And by the way, we understand from our baseball producer that, our producer, who's a baseball fanatic,
Yes.
that there's actually going to be a game in Dyersville.
That is correct.
They are playing a baseball game and at the Field of Dreams next year, next August, I think the date is.
Yes.
So there are certainly some tough things, but there are new opportunities in healthcare, not just on the research, and certainly the trends are positive and lots of new health breakthroughs and different things that we know in the last couple decades, but in the how technology allows us to consume that knowledge and do that. And that's part of where MG Wellness is trying to fill. I'll call it a void. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but there's a void. There's lots of information out there. There's more information than you ever had, but getting trustworthy health information that's based on science is hard. So let's talk a little bit about that. Where does MG Wellness fit into, and what things are you trying to do to help fix what's out there that's broken?
So I think that is a huge portion of it. And at the same time, it goes back to what we were saying about the electronic medical record. So digital technology, such as what we're using, and thank goodness for Nate, otherwise we wouldn't be using.
Yes.
He is our digital guru. We're just the
goobers
faces on the TV.
The goobers.
That digital technology allows us to be able to spend the time with you that the providers can't. And that doesn't mean we're trying to replace your provider. We're absolutely not. Our goal is to help educate you where your provider no longer has the time to do it.
Correct.
Your provider's seeing 20 to 60 patients in a day with multiple problems and can't address things. And so that is where we come in my opinion.
Right. I think our background in education has helped to bring MG Wellness into existence, that our desire is to teach. And teaching takes a long time. It just takes a lot of concerted effort to bring material along that does fill that void.
And teaching doesn't mean just, teaching med students, teaching residents, teaching fellows. It means teaching the patient. And because I truly believe that's one of the things that has been kind of pushed to the wayside. The other advantage, and this is not what we're doing currently, but one of the other advantages of the digital technology is that rural areas that don't normally have access to what I would call non-interventional specialists can now get access.
Correct. Through telemedicine, family medicine, neurology, even intensive care.
A lot of psychiatry is being done by telemedicine.
There are lots of fields where telemedicine is being explored. One of the other things I was going to say about where MG Wellness fits in all of these challenges is that this knowledge or teaching or whatever you want to call it that MG Wellness provides really allows you then to take that knowledge and be more of your own health advocate, which in today's very complicated healthcare system, you really have to be your own healthcare advocate. And so I think that is a place that MG Wellness can really fit in our current state of healthcare.
So where do you think, let's take our side as consumers or as patients. And obviously it's hard for you guys to take your hat off and not be a doctor, but when you are the patient and you are trying to find information, how do you decide which is good information and bad information? And because what we're saying is we want to be the credible source, the most research source, but there are thousands of sources out there, millions. I have no idea what that number is. How do you judge that? How do you figure out which is the right and judge that? And even then, when they look at what MG Wellness is doing, how can they say, yes, I know that I trust Dr. John, Dr. Kelly, that this is a researched mindset?
So I think where I would start, I'll take the last part of that first. How do you know that we aren't just some random fly-by-night doctors, but that we instead can be trusted. Are we perfect human beings? No. Are we perfect in any way? No. But do we bring credibility? Yes, I believe that we do, and this is why. Number one, we believe, because this is what is true in medicine, that those who are scientifically credible are those who read, because healthcare is changing so rapidly, medical knowledge is expanding so rapidly, and who are those who have not only participated in research, but have led research trials, have published research trials.
Have actually written it, not just
Correct.
one of the 12 authors on something, but actually being either the first or last author.
Right.
Because that's what it takes. One of the other things is, and if you go to MGWellness.org, www.mgwellness.org, you can actually see our resumes, CVs is what we call them, curriculum vitae, to see what we've done
Yes.
over the years. But the other part of it is that we don't, for diseases that are not orphan diseases, not small volume diseases, you have to be able to not react to one paper. You have to be able to
Put it in a larger context.
Put it in the larger context.
Right.
And
Correct.
that's super important. One of the things we've done over the last several years is helped edit and analyze what's called the Cochrane Review. Mm-hmm. And I've had to do several of these where you take all the data that's available in the literature on a subject and look through it, give advice, and then you pass it off to another group that does the statistical analysis. Then they pass it off to a third group to see if what we said and what the statisticians said matches up, and then determine the value. And it sounds like that's a crazy amount, and it is, but that's why you get these areas that have a ton of incredibly valuable, real information. Because we've seen, and I was mentioning it to Dr. Kelly this morning before this, that there are a lot of people out there that are claiming lots of things and making millions of dollars publishing books that have no basis in any science. And that's one of the things I am most proud of with our course, that everything we talked about has information backing it.
Right, scientific, good scientific, valid scientific information. The other thing that I was going to say, not only do we bring that type of scientific expertise to the table, but I will tell you that without a doubt, our passion right in here for taking proper care of our patients is deeper than you might find anywhere. We care about our patients. I think you can see that on the posts
from our patients,
that it is deep here.
And in fact, we have actually left positions that we've had at institutions because they were not worried about patient safety.
Right.
They were worried about volume,
and the dollars,
and not worried about patient safety in the slightest. That's how seriously we take patient care. That's how seriously we take actually looking at data and determining what to say. And I can tell you, the past year, looking at all the data we have has dramatically changed how we talk to patients about stuff in our own practice, how we do things ourselves,
how we take care of ourselves,
and how we look at the world, because you have to go with data. You can't go with what is the popular truth being spread or the popular statements being spread in the media, you actually have to look at the data and go, oh, well, that's completely different. Because a lot of things are sensationalized for just the fact of sensationalism. A great example of that was some recent vegan who decided to become a meatitarian, and it's all over the place. And I'm like, okay, that's one person who did that, following absolutely zero data.
And it was for such a short amount of time, and you don't know
Long-term effects. And that's what people,
right.
I mean, if you switch from a regular American diet to a whole foods plant-based diet, the first 2 weeks are awful because you are withdrawing from the crap that the corporations have put in our food. And I truly say crap because it is. High fructose corn syrup is nothing more than crap, which has led to most diseases that we have.
Right.
And there's no question about it. I can give you the scientific information. But they don't talk about that in the news because, oh, wait, the news is being sponsored by those companies.
Right.
Who's doing the ads? So, we're passionate about bringing the truth through the scientific literature.
Right.
And not,
even
not
when it may not be
popular.
a popular thing.
And the thing is, we're also not going to be doing conspiracy theories on crap. Mm-hmm. It's all based on what the literature actually says.
Right. So that's where I think our passion and our experience and knowledge really come to the forefront of being a trusted source.
Cool. All right, we're going to finish with a couple of flash questions. They don't even know they're coming, so we're going to have some fun.
Shocking.
And
here we go again.
Here we go. The best thing, then I'm going to tell you that you're going to tell me what the best thing is. The best thing I have eaten in the last 2 weeks is...
Wow.
See, I got them.
Okay. I got one.
Okay, you go first.
A week ago, I had an amazing seafood meal that had with it tons of clean plant-based protein. I had scallops with a cauliflower puree, Brussels sprouts, mushrooms. I'm telling you, it was incredible. And I thought to myself, clean never tasted so good. It was awesome.
It's very true.
Yeah.
As you think that you wouldn't like things after a while, or that you think that, I've been eating this way forever, so if I switch to this, it's not going to taste as good. Your taste buds change dramatically once you get rid of the crap in our systems.
So what have you had?
I would honestly say some Brussels sprouts and asparagus and mushrooms.
Roasted?
Oh,
Toasted? Which?
Roasted mushrooms with garlic, of course.
Yes, 15 cloves.
Absolutely have to have something from the allium family.
Yes,
Sure.
the allium family. It's what it's all
Absolutely.
about.
And
Yeah.
throw in some cruciferous vegetables with the
Yeah, lots of anti-cancer potential
Brussels
there.
sprouts and the asparagus. So I think that's true. I mean, I do love having a piece of sustainable salmon.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
No question. But I have really, I love...
John has actually really, Dr. John, has actually really adopted more of the, dare I say,
No. Whole foods.
vegan lifestyle than I ever thought would be possible. I mean, frankly, it's shocking. So, yeah,
As I said,
we've had some good
one
plant-based
of the
protein.
interesting things is there's so much data supporting whole foods, especially plant-based protein, that it's hard to say that you love data, love information, and then
and not be changed by it.
continue to eat M&Ms and Skittles.
So, and you can do M&Ms and Skittles as long as they're actually colored cauliflower, carrots, and different things.
Yes.
So
I was waiting to see how we were going to do M&Ms and Skittles.
So
I can't
they just
do them
look
anymore.
a little lumpier. But I always need to answer the question. I would say the best thing I have eaten recently is I have found this new little place a couple miles away that's a poke restaurant where you can make your own poke, put all the stuff in it. I love kimchi, so I've been putting some kimchi, some tofu. I did put some salmon in it once, and also a little bit of spicy crab. Kind of going to the edge of the good, but all very good. And it comes with these huge. You order it with avocado, and the first time I ordered it, like they don't slice the avocado. They literally, it's like scooped out. And it looks like an ice cream scooper, and it's so good and creamy and fresh, and oh, so good. All right, so best thing that you have read as a comment in our posts. So best being, some of them are very sobering in our comments, but so it doesn't mean, but something that's been touching. The best thing we've read in one of our comments in the last week or 2 weeks here on MG Wellness.
I think for me, not to get specific into the individuals, but to actually see when we talked about our webinar, the people that responded to it and how quickly people supported each other. To me, that is awesome because community is amazing. Community helps everyone. Everyone needs a community. We were not made to be isolated individuals. So to see that is, to me, it's absolutely amazing. And that's what we're here for, is to help that, to come alongside that and support you getting healthy, being healthy.
Yeah, that was a very shocking thing to me, was different people saying, I'm going to pray for you as you go through your cancer journey. And even one commented, I'm here if you need to talk. And these are people who don't know each other at all and have just encountered each other within this MG Wellness community. So that is really cool, how you can gather people together who have never met each other and don't know each other. And yeah, we talk about how you don't really know each other through social media, but I'll tell you what, when you're talking about something that is as significant as cancer and going through chemotherapy, that helps people to know each other really quickly in a different way and be able to provide support that other people can't really provide. And that's a beautiful thing. So that's been awesome to see.
And I will answer that question as well. One of the things I think for myself that I've been humbled as I've watched these is watching people, and some of these posts not everyone can see because some of them are on advertisements and they are just there as we're promoting and trying to help people see what's going on. But we've watched people and they'll say things like, man, chemo is just a nerve tie. I forget how it's phrased, and it's a terrible thing. And what I've seen is the opportunity to create dialogue and to say, look, not everything that we've been taught is true. And we all know that we've learned things for periods of time and suddenly we realize, no, that wasn't based on fact. But the way to do that in community, there are positive things and negative things that come with social media, but I do believe it is a positive when we all can come and say, hey, you know what, maybe you're not right. And what I always say is I say to my kids, stop the name calling. We don't call them names, we just simply try to help them see. And Dr. John did a great job last night when it was actually our first purchase, because we're just opening the doors to our new course, and we saw the order and we were celebrating over a text, and he reminded us that we pray that we help that person as they take that journey. And that's what all this is for, is we're looking to help people. So I put a quote up there that I think you guys can see on your preview screen over there. But I love what Sabrina, so proud of you living in your convictions and compassions. But one of the things next question. So best thing you have learned, which is a harder question, in the last 2 weeks, something you've learned. We're always learning something new.
For me,
am I allowed to talk about Star Wars and The Mandalorian?
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
What
No,
a
these don't have to
goober.
be health related. I thought you were going to say, because my next question, just to tip you, is going to be, the best thing you're looking forward to in the next week.
That's
I thought
not
you were
even
going
a
Star
question.
Wars.
Not even a question. Okay, you can answer this one first.
Okay. The best thing that I've learned in the past couple of weeks has been, and it's an ongoing process, I have not learned it completely, I'm just at the beginning of it, I believe, is learning how to help people through social media. We think of social media as, the highlight reels of our life.
Doesn't have to be.
But MG Wellness wants to come into really critical and needed areas of healthcare. And learning how to connect with people I've never met who are either scared or upset or angry or at whatever they have gone through. And not being able to say to them face to face, hey, listen, I hear you. But to try to communicate with them in a way that's effective through social media. So it's just something that I'm learning, and I think Dr. John does a really good job of doing that effectively. So I'm learning that. How about you, Doctor?
It's really hard to answer after she gives answers like that, and I just go, wow, what I was going to say is really frickin' stupid. So I'll go for it anyway. Wow. Yeah, this is why I should go first, because then...
Why don't you just talk about what you're looking forward to this coming week?
No, I'll talk about what I learned. I think so, and Dr. Kelly knows this well. Nate doesn't know it as well, but 20 years ago, I sat in a lab a lot and tried to do, before we understood how complex cancer was, and that there are thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of defects in every cancer cell. We thought if we changed one gene, we could cure people. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't work that way, Pete. Yeah. However, there have been huge strides in several diseases that are what we call single gene diseases. Whether you're talking sickle cell, which, obviously in this country, you don't need it to save yourself from malaria. Sickle cell is a debilitating disease. Beta thalassemia, another rare disease for most people that they don't even know about, but it's a very similar disease to sickle cell. And then there are some congenital eye diseases, inherited eye diseases, where they're all from a single gene mutation, and that they have created techniques that are much safer, that can actually cure these diseases.
Which is,
it's not
amazing.
It's not out in public yet. It's not for thing. But if something like this can come out, and if it costs $100,000, it's worth it, because it is curing diseases.
Right. It's
and
not
to
just
see this,
pushing the disease a little bit further down the road. This is something that is transformative.
The number one inherited type of blindness could be history in the next few years.
Right.
The number one. That's just unbelievable. And to have been reading a bunch about this and not having horrible side effects so far. Because, I've always been worried about genetic engineering, even though I even considered going into it. But at the point when I would have been doing something like that, we were nowhere near
seeing tremendous side effects is what you were seeing at that time.
Tremendous. You try to fix one thing and you create 5 others.
Right.
But for single gene diseases, then we could see cures. Obviously, anytime you talk about genetic engineering, there's huge, huge ethical, moral dilemmas. and people can do stupid things, and people over in China have been doing stupid things.
Scary things.
Scary things. Combining the DNA of animals, combining the DNA of humans and animals. I mean, things that you think are from a Michael Crichton movie, they're trying because they don't have the controls. But over here and in parts of Europe and in Australia, seeing, what the potential is phenomenal.
Yeah. So he has been riveted by these kinds of articles that have been coming out.
That's what a geek I am. Sorry.
Yep. That's what we're dealing
And
with.
I think with the next question, you're really going to find out what type of geek I am.
We already know.
Oh, and the best thing I have learned in the last couple of weeks is, I'm going to go a different type of geekdom. How good software makes your life easier. and when you actually...
Good answer, Doctor.
And one of the things that I've learned is I'm a person that likes to go in and try to figure it out myself. And if I'd actually read the help and the manuals and followed through instead of just trying to figure it out myself, I would probably save myself hours and hours of frustration. But I love good software. That's a different thing that I've learned. And when it works and you use it the way they intended, which is probably true about a lot of things, when you actually do it the way the person who designed it and created it, and you do it their way, it's really going to work. Now, it doesn't mean sometimes you can create a new way, but that's the way. Best thing that you are looking forward to in the next week. 2 weeks out from Christmas.
Okay, I have to say it, and all of you who know me have no question that this is true. 7 days or less from now, because actually our tickets are for 10:45 on the 19th, which is less than 7 days. The Rise of Skywalker. There is no question that is what I'm looking forward to in the next week.
That's excellent. I won't be there. Praise be. I will not be there. I have actually been known to take a pillow and blanket into the movie theater when I have been dragged to such events. So I will not be there. What am I looking forward to? I'll tell you what I did yesterday that I'm looking forward to doing more of, and that is being with my granddaughter. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I think she's pretty awesome. I know you're all laughing, but I get to see her quite a bit in the next couple of weeks, and that's
why we're here.
It's the best, really. Yeah.
And producer Nate, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, my kids going on Christmas break next week and getting those longer periods of time where we have some break time. Those are good for change of pace. And then I would say one other thing, I'm looking forward to Star Wars, which Dr. John has so nice let me take Dr. Kelly's seat, and I'll be at that 10:45 showing as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Probably not as much as Dr. John is, but I am also looking forward to my daughters are all swimming, and I get to watch them swim, and I love doing that. So those are things I'm looking forward to. On that, we're going to say goodbye. Dr. John, Dr. Kelly, on behalf of MGWellness, have a wonderful weekend. You'll see a lot more from us next week. Have a great day.
And always.